and Chairperson of the session. First of all, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our speaker of the session, Dr. Sukhjeet Ranade, Professor in Computer Science, Punjabi University, Patiala, and Director HRDC Ma'am, Punjabi University, Patiala, Dr. Vishal Goyal Sir, Coordinator of the course, and all the participants of the 84th refresher course. Today's speaker, Dr. Sukhjeet Ranade, received undergraduate degree with mathematics from Punjab University, Chandigarh, postgraduate degree in Master of Computer Applications from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, and MTech from Punjabi University, Patiala in 1997. Later, she joined the Department of Computer Science, Punjabi University, Patiala in 1998 as Assistant Professor. She received her doctorate degree in Computer Science in 2013. Presently, she is serving as professor, and her key research areas are digital image processing, specifically image denoising, image segmentation, and information hiding. She has published more than 60 papers in various journals and conferences of international and national repute. Today, she will present her talk on information security, common threats, and defenses. Now, I invite ma'am to start with today's topic. Welcome, ma'am. Hello.
Is it audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
So, very good afternoon, all the participants. And as Dr. Jagtar have already introduced, that I belong to a field of mathematics, and my key area of interest is image processing. And but as Dr. Vishal told me that we are from different fields, diverse fields. So today I have tried to keep my talk around the general concern about the information security, not very technical in detail, though I am told that around 50% of us belong to the computer science field, and my humble apology, I admit humbly that maybe many of them will be knowing the technical details much more and better than me. So whenever they find something to add to this presentation, add to this talk, I welcome them. Please unmute yourself and add to this particular session, right? So this is just going to be open discussion sort of. And yes, one thing is, because I belong to the field of image processing, you will find so many images in this presentation. Less text, more images we will enjoy, right? So may I begin with? Dr. Jagtar, am I audible? Should I begin?
Yes,
keep on giving me feedback. Keep on giving me the feedback if I'm not audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it is information security, common threats and defenses from a common user point of view. Nothing technical, nothing requiring very deep knowledge of computer science. We are going to discuss very general concepts, very general terms. And right. So as you can see in this particular picture, there are so many things I have added, like there are worms. You can see, I don't know whether you are able to see the pointer or not. So you are able to see there are worms, terms frequently used. There are bombs. Yes, there are bombs also. And there is spoofing also. Here, this is a ghost trying to spoof into this particular system. Spoofing, this is called. So let's move to something interesting. Let us begin with what's going around us. Heard of the most recent Bitcoin Twitter scam? Just recently, on July 15, when we all in Indian, we are sleeping from 1:30 to 3:30, the profile of 130 very high profile user Twitter account was hacked. Literally, it was hacked. And those whose accounts were hacked include Kim Kardashian, Kanye, even Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Barack Obama, and your Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. They were among whose accounts were hacked. And what the hacker did with these hacked accounts, with these Twitter hacked accounts, there were posts people were seeing, like Barack Obama is saying, I am giving back to my community due to COVID-19. All Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin, this is a cryptocurrency. Nowadays, we don't buy shares or tangible things. We buy Bitcoins, right? So this is sort of a cryptocurrency, which is virtual, you can say, currency. So all Bitcoins sent to my address below will be sent back doubled. You know, if you send me $1,000, you will get $2,000 back. And here is the code for the cryptocurrency, for the transfer transaction. So this is called the addressee, Bitcoin addresses, right? So, and definitely to lure the readers to the other Twitter users, said, okay, I'm only doing this only for the next 30 minutes. So do whatever you want to do, because after that, this message will disappear, that is, will disappear, sort of. And similar message was from Apple also. You know, Apple is considered to be very safe, sort of. So again, it is a similar message with some different wording we are giving back to, because Apple is an organization, so it is not I am giving back, we are giving back, right? And you can notice that the addressee BC1QXY2, it's a similar, and again similar kind of message. And the Twitter users around one, they actually did Bitcoin transactions. That these are the trusty Twitter accounts. These were verified Twitter accounts. Verified, not the dummy ones. So Twitter verifies the accounts of high-profile users, and $110,000 US dollar transactions they were done. They were benefited in the addressee's account, right? And later on, definitely it was detected very soon, within 24 hours, that this is a fake thing. This is a complete scam. And what kind of scam this was? Actually, as per the official statement of the Twitter, this was a coordinated social engineering attack. We call it coordinated social engineering attack. Means the employees, the trusted employees, those who are working with the admin tools and the some tools and methods for the management of the accounts, they were involved. They were compromised. The internal employees, the internal people there, they were compromised. So definitely from the common user point of view, you can't do much about it. It seems, what we could have done, so you trusted these Twitter posts. So here is the thing, that as a user, what we can learn is never went into the pitfall of such things. There are so many things on the social media. Even, you know, Wikipedia is now asking for some donations. So there are so many requests for the donations. There are so many requests for the for making money. As a user, don't do such things unless you know any person in person. If you know in person, only then go ahead with the transaction. Otherwise, please don't do. So this was actually the lesson learned from the user side. Definitely at the hacker side, they definitely, right now, it's not clear who did this, which party was involved. Definitely it was an organization. They are doing their investigation. Right now, the official statement states that it is a coordinated social engineering attack and says nothing much about it right now. It's just 15 days, of just a month back, right? Let us look another case study. This was 2016 Bangladesh bank heist. This was involved with, again, money, you know. So what happened in this case was, in this case, there was no employee who was compromised. It was not a human error. It was nothing like that, not a social engineering kind of attack. What happened in this case was, when the bank does the transactions, all the online transactions we are doing, at the end of the day, as a backup and as a verification, printing is being done by the bank for all the transactions that has been done, and these the print, it involves your account number and your transaction details and even your bank account details and how much amount you have, something like that. Almost all details are there in that transaction, right? They are printed at the end of the day and they are kept as a record. What the hacker did in this case, the printer which was attached to the server of the bank from where the printing was to be done, that printing module was hacked. You know how printing is being done. You print it from the machine, definitely your data travel from the machine to the printer's local memory, right? So if I want to print a file, the copy of that file first goes to the local memory of the printer from where printing is being done. So it was the printer that was hacked. The very significant printer which was attached to the bank's server, main server, that was hacked. And from there, all the account details of the customers who have done transactions on that particular day. And you know what were the days? The days specifically was chosen to be the Saturday, Sunday. That is, the printing was made on Friday evening and the days chosen were Saturday, next Sunday, and the next was Monday. Monday was a holiday in US. I don't remember on which account it was. So this fraud was, this scam was detected only after 3 days on Tuesday when the bank was operational. And around $1 billion amount was illegally transferred. So later on the reports, you can find it on the net. There is a page on this, 216 Bangladesh bank has. So you will find this is alleged that it was initiated by North Korea. The North Korea did this this fraud. The amount was first transferred to New York and then from New York to Sri Lanka and then like this way. Ultimately it was found in North Korea, right? Only 35 transactions were initiated, and out of 35, 5 were successful, and the total amount was, as I have told you, around $100 billion, right? So this was a very big scam. As a user, so again here as a user, what we have to learn is that whenever you make, even nothing is safe, that means even the bank printer can be hacked, right? So another is again the recent one. This is the, you must have heard it in the news, so I have posted a clipping of the news itself. It is 219 Indian banks data breach. You must have heard of, although the group IB is one which deals with the investigation of such cases. So although this particular in this particular case they did not reveal the name of the bank so that people don't lose trust, but around 18% of the compromised cards, they were from the same bank. I also won't name that bank because if group IB is not naming it, I shouldn't name it officially. So what was happened is all the information about the debit and the credit cards were stolen. So if the information about your debit, its serial number along with your account number, if it is revealed to someone, someone can easily make a duplicate card. And all these cards which were hacked, they were old kind of cards, those which were having magnetic strips and all that. So they were very easily stolen. The information was very easily stolen. Okay, You know, when these people, these hackers, one interesting thing about this is that the same thing happened in 2016 also, when around 32 lakh credit and debit card information was stolen. This is done with the help of malwares. You know, what happened in 2016 is SBI जो ATM machines हैं, they were corrupted with malware, and from that the information about the credit and the debit cards were stolen. And you know, those who steal these debits and credit card information, they themselves don't use this information. What goes around is they sell it to dark web. Have any idea about dark web? This is the new term. In fact, I learned while making this presentation, dark web. You know, all of you, we know about the term web or www, Google, like we write www.google.com. So Google or Yahoo, we all use these search engines. These search engines, they return us with so many websites. Like if I write www.google.com and I say Wikipedia, it will give me all the pages which are concerned with Wikipedia. Or if you write Punjabi University Patiala, it will give you all the pages related with the Punjabi University Patiala or where it appears. You know, the various web pages which are shown there, they are indexed pages, legally registered pages with DNS and all that. But there are so many pages, web pages, which are there, but they are not recognized by these search engines. And it's good. That's for a good purpose actually. So the web which is not visible, the web links which are not visible to the users through the normal search engines is called deep web. And as you can see from the figure, basically these search engines, they give you the results which are through the surface web only. The surface web is around 4%. 96% of the web URL addresses, they are not visible to the normal search engine. Yeah, what we call is these are the hidden addresses. Only if you know the exact address, you will get to that site. You need to know the exact address, http : / whatever characters they have written. So that consists of deep web. The purpose of this deep web is actually for the security purpose. Like, for example, I am a customer of Airtel, and there is a page on my name, Sukhjeet, in the name of Sukhjeet, that I have 4 mobile numbers with me, 2 DTH connections which are related with me, and blah, blah, blah. There is a page on my name at the Airtel, related with the Airtel information, right? So definitely that page should be accessible only through my login and password. When I give correct login and correct password, I get to that web page. That is a part of deep web. Nobody else should be able to see that. Like in a routine, you log in for your email. We give our mail, Gmail ID, we give the password, and on the top of the address bar, you will see the address of the inbox, right? From where mails can be fetched. So definitely that must be through some authenticated procedure. Should not be, if you write on the Google, www.google.com, you go and write all mails of Sukhjeet ke Ranade. Not going to show you my mails. I will get to that page of email where you see your emails. That is again a web page. And that web page is a secure web page. That is a part of deep web. I can get to that only through some authenticated process and not otherwise. So that is for good thing. But within this deep web is a dark web. Dark web is a part of that deep web which is not good, which is possessed by the criminals or the criminals, not the okay, let's use criminals, or in fact the people who are, or the addresses who are considered illegitimate by the nations, that is by the world, by our gentleman world, right? So this dark web, it has so many issues. It basically, it is a space for the cyber criminals, and a lot of negative things are going over there in the deep web. Not only money frauds, but human trafficking is also done through the dark web. The sale or purchase of other illegal weapons, everything it is done through the dark web. So only the people who are aware of dark web, it's a, you can say this is like a word of criminals, which has nothing to do with the common word, right? So, okay, let's not deviate too much. So again, okay, so this was about money, right? 2019 money, 2016 money, 2020 Twitter, it is money. It's not everything about the money. We as an researchers, as an academicians, as a researchers, right? Again, we are under the threat. As you know that recently 3 nations, US, UK, and third one, I forgot, sorry. The third nation was, if anyone can recall, please write it in chat or can tell us. There were 3 nations who accused that Russia is hacking all the research which is being done on this coronavirus vaccine. So I think you must have read it in the news around in July 16 that the part of Russian intelligence service, which is known as the Cozy Bear. Cozy Bear, you can say this is again the organization which work for the cyber criminals. Basically, they hackers. They are hacking the academic and the pharmaceutical research data related with the development of the vaccine for coronavirus. So, and as we can see, it's the Russia who has come up with the first vaccine. Maybe true, may not be false. Investigation is still going on. So, right, it's not always about money. Sometimes an important data, like the military data, if it is leaked. You know, my husband, he is an army officer, and he says, he always says, Sukhjeet, the next war is not going to be with weapons. You will see, the next war will be fought over the keyboard. The country or the nation who is having the access to the sensitive data will be the winner, can negotiate on a number of things, right? So definitely in every field, the information security, or what we generally call is InfoSec, it is mandatory. We must be at least aware of these things. So by definition, information security, it is basically the practice of defending your information from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruptions, whatever negative words you can associate with it, modification, perusal, inspection, recording, or the destruction, right? So the basic purpose of the information security here is to keep your data, to keep your information safe, so that nobody can use it for wrong. Now, as a user, so that all we discussed was at a very high scale, at a very high profile things were involved, but it doesn't mean that we are such a small fish in the pond who is going to ponder on us. No, we are also sometimes targeted, and we should know about these things. So first, let us come to what are the common threats which we as users we face, the computer security threats. So some of them, I'll say they are annoying, some of them are harmful. It depends upon, like there are certain viruses, they don't do something, they just create an irritation. Your app will be closing frequently, or your app will be behaving in a weird way sometimes. So what you do is you uninstall the app and then install it again, and everything is fine. You just even forget about this. But some are pretty harmful, like if your credit card information is stolen. Most of the freewares are, yeah, here is the thing, you know, right from the first slide, till last slide. Okay, you can say I'm giving you a spoiler. The only thing that will come is, please be careful about your money part and don't be a pitfall to the freewares and the free money offers, right? So most of the free apps, many of the free apps, they require you to give you your credit card or debit card information with promise that this only if I have a Netflix subscription, they ask for the information, your credit card or the debit card information, and they say for first month is free. Later on, you can always unsubscribe. So we have a pitfall that what we do is say, okay, no issues, we will enjoy for 1 month and then we will not subscribe further, we will unsubscribe it. We will unsubscribe 2 days before that. But say for 2 days before that, for 28 days, good enough 28 days, your information about the credit card is there with Netflix. It is there. It can be stolen. That will be pretty harmful. So that is why I just wanted to let you know in the very beginning, it's not that the data is sometimes stolen from your computer. It may be stolen from the printer of a bank server also. So whenever you are giving your information, please be careful about it and try not to give that information, right? Wherever it is not required that necessarily, right? So, but there are some who damage your computer also, like your system crash. The commonly used term is that my system crashed, my all data is lost. Don't know what people earn out of that fun, that you put virus onto your computer and your computer is crashed and you have to do everything else. So the things are not that simple. If I go into the too much details, then sometimes you feel that your computer has gone slow because of viruses, because of some malwares. Your computer is working very slowly. Why it is working slowly? Have you ever thought about that? Because although you are having very high-end CPU, you are having very high-end GPU, graphic coprocessor, still your games are slow, still your apps are slow. Why? Because sometimes your CPU cycles are also stolen. It is not always the money which is stolen. Sometimes your computation power is also stolen. Because the hacker or a criminal, it needs some computation. Now, what kind of computation a hacker does? उसे क्या compute करना था? 2 + 2 4 तो कहीं भी हो जाता. नहीं. Sometimes they have to break the secret codes. It's a very simple theory. You have a 6-digit pin. 6-digit pin means from 000 to 999, 10,000. You need to try 10,000 combination to break that. So when their codes are large, like when the secret documents, the military documents or bank documents, when they are encrypted using 256 or type of encryption techniques, DES encryption techniques we use, standard encryption techniques. Breaking them requires so many computers and the computational part. Maybe your, नहीं मैं आपको डरा नहीं रही हूँ, but maybe it's true, but it is true that sometimes your CPU cycles are also stolen for that wrong purposes. So you definitely you are an innocent person, you don't want to be that. So that is why it is important to keep an eye that if there is a virus in or a malware or something unwanted in your computer, so that you don't become the part of the malafide intentions of such criminals. That is why it is important to be safe with our system, right? So these are some terms we use frequently in the world of information security: spyware, hacker. Hacker is one who hacks the system, and viruses, identity theft, slow response, computer crash, rootkits, worms. Let's come to these terms one by one. These terms we have heard somewhere, huh? Okay, first let me take up the term malware. Malware is a generic term. You heard of software. What is a software? The set of programs, right? You say hardware. What is hardware? Hard means something which is tangible. So your keyboard, your mouse, your machine, your laptop, this is hardware. This is malware. Malware is a short for malicious software. It is a software, but who is not the one which is not good. Its purpose is, the basic purpose of malware is to disrupt the computer operations, gather sensitive information for different purposes, and have the access to the private computer systems, or sometimes display unwanted information, wrong information, right? It's a generic term. Depending upon the purpose of a malware, we can categorize it into different type of intrusive softwares. We'll come to these. So malwares are generally, it's an umbrella term which is used for the further different type of malwares or the different type of disruptive or intrusive softwares called viruses, Trojans, Rootkits, worms, Spyware, Crimeware, and adwares. All these are type of malwares, right? So this is just about the data as on 2011. It's an old data, 9 years back, but almost it is relevant today. Most of the problems that we face is that most of the malwares that comes, they are in the form of Trojan horses, right? Then we face viruses, and rest are worms, adwares, backdoors, spywares, and others, right? So this is just generic information again about what a malware is. Basically, malware can bring the unwanted pop-up messages, can format your drives. This is the worst case. Can alter or delete some files, can steal your information, can send even emails on your behalf, and can take control of your computer and everything running. So malware, it can be simply annoying, harmless thing. Harmless but annoying. When it just gives you the unwanted pop-up messages, like a birthday message pop out ho raha hai. So, but two, it can be as harsh and as hard that it takes control of your computer, right? So, depending upon the data that we have seen where in the pie chart, the most wanted malwares are Trojan horses, around 70%. Then we have viruses, rootkit, and worms. So I like to keep my discussion around these popularly malwares and popular terms only. Now, what is a virus? A virus is a program which simply replicates itself, and it needs a media for that, like virus wali pen drive. Virus, it generally is not able to survive itself independently. So virus, it always, when you plug in certain storage media or sometimes when you copy a file from one system to another, that virus, it is attached within that file. Now, how to check whether the file is having virus or not? Generally, you can compare it with the original size of the file. Like today I have written a file. I have created a MS Word document, and let us say it is of 1 KB size. But when I copy to third party or the fourth party, if its size increases to 4 KB without any modification in the document itself, then probably that file has been corrupted somewhere. So it usually increases the size of the host itself, right? So viruses, they are not that harmful, I tell you honestly. इससे और बड़ी चीजें आएंगी when it will come to crimeware, etc. Right? So most of the viruses that come, they are through exe files, right? They come through emails sometimes, and they spread through your network. What a virus do is, it can send us spam information, it can leak information, it can hijack your web browser, it can change your security settings, it can display some unwanted advertisements and all that. that dangerous. But what is important thing is, one is if the file is contaminated or not. You can check it through size. The another is how you can identify. Sometimes you plug in a pen drive and the virus is transferred. How will you identify that among 100 and 200 files, which particular file is being copied automatically and it is a virus? Always pay attention to the name of the file. This is a practice that I always even tell my students, that whenever you save the name of the file, always save it in a meaningful way. Because file and its extensions, sometimes they help you to identify that this file is a virus file. It has copied itself, right? For example, in this particular picture, you want to download an image. I want to download an image. Now the file name is image0018. Yes, it is an image file. Because whenever you click an image through your DSLR camera or your devices, usually it has IMG word in front of it. But when I downloaded the image, it is img0018.exe. Arey bhaiya, how can an image be an executable file? If anybody noticed that, you can delete that file immediately, and now you are safe from the virus which would have otherwise corrupted your system. So these are just simple checks, right? So viruses are only available. Actually, viruses, the purpose of creating the virus is generally not a very serious kind of crime. It has been studied that basically it is designed only just to create the annoyance, sometimes for an interesting revenge purpose, sort of, right? So they are not popular because they don't earn any money out of that. ठीक है, वायरस भेज दिया क्या हो गया, उनका डाटा खराब हो गया या आपके सिस्टम ने अजीब सा बिहेव किया, but they are not that kind of crime, you can say. It's not a kind of cyber crime, right? Worm is one step ahead of virus. So you can distinguish a virus from a worm on the simple grounds that virus needs a carrier. Corona is a virus. COVID is a virus. It needs a carrier. COVID is a virus. It needs a carrier. It can be, it can spread only through a media, right? Whereas worm, wo jo tiddi dal attack. Now the worms, they are independent. They can come and they can harm you. They don't need a carrier. They can move themselves. Worm usually comes when you log into the suspicious sites, right? When you go to the some suspicious sites which are not very authentic or which are not very safe, then what happens is that when you connect to the server, to their server where the that website resides, that suspicious website resides, it sends you a very small amount of code called the hook. So that hook is copied onto your system in your memory, and it activates itself, and it opens a path which is not known to you. Backend page, it opens a port. The word is port actually. And let's not go into the details of port. Let's say port, whenever you want to connect to the computer, whenever you want to connect through the internet, then internet had some address numbers. Like you go to the bank and there is a service window 1, service window 2, service window 3, service window 4, right? So whenever you connect to the internet, some service windows are opened. These are numbered from 0 to 255. On your computer, when you connect to the internet, 256 service windows can be opened. Let me make it more relatable. When you connect through this web browser, when you go for TCP/IP transfer, that is, you open your web browser, the first request, it goes through the port number 80. That is, you have, for example, you go to the bank, from where you deposit deposit the amount, you deposit the cash on window number 4. From where you collect the amount cash, you collect it from window number 6. So there are designated windows. So similarly, there is designated number like TCP/IP. It first request to go through the port number 80, right? Out of 0 to 255, it goes on the number 80, right? So what the worm does is, out of 256 ports which are available, when you connect to the internet, some of the ports which are not used and should be closed, the hook come open to that port, which otherwise you don't use. You don't use all the ports. And from there, it activates that port, open that port, and the worm creeps through that. Now, once the worm come into your system, then definitely it can go anywhere. It can check your memory status. It can keep check on what apps you are using and which app you are using for how many times, right? So such things that be stolen, right? So if it have all the information, and it can spread itself, you know. It spreads itself. The worm is independent. It will spread itself. You connect to one computer, worm came from computer A. Now your computer is having a worm. If some C computer connects to you, then the worm will travel to C also. So it will multiply itself automatically without your knowledge. That is the difference between virus and a worm. Worm is more active, virus is passive, right? So virus, you can say, I don't want virus. So you can always say, please don't copy through the USB. You better you send me through mail. But through mail, there can be, through other net connectivity, there can be worm, right? So there are, basically worm can, like if it is coming through the email, then the worm can spread to everyone in your contact list. And it can cause the tremendous amount of damage by shutting down that parts of internet. The third interesting term was Trojan horse. I think Trojan horse story, everybody knows that there was a war between the Greeks and the Spartans. Stories there on internet. So basically one party, there was a war between two kings. So one party was losing the war because the fort built was so strong that nobody can invade that fort. It was very difficult to get inside that fort. So what the losing party did is, the losing party made a very large wooden horse. And within that wooden horse, there were warriors, there was the army of that losing king. So they were in that wooden horse. And they left that horse outside the gates of the fort, that is outside the winning party. And when they woke up and they thought that the losing party, I think who was losing? Greeks were losing, I think. So the Greeks, I exactly don't remember. Let's assume Greeks were losing. So what they did a trick, Greeks, they went inside that horse, that wooden horse. And when Spartans, they came out, they thought that Greeks, they have left, they have lost the war. As a victory symbol, as a trophy of the victory, they took that horse, wooden horse, inside the fort and celebrated and had liquor and enjoyed a lot. And at night, when all the army was drunk and was sleeping, the army came, the army of that losing party, it came out of the wooden horse and opened the door of the fort for the other, for the associates to come in, and that is how the war was won. So you have a pretty good idea of how Trojan horse worked. It seemed to be a simple, innocent wooden horse as a trophy of victory, but inside that was suspicious army that can corrupt you, that can defeat you. This is the whole idea of Trojan horses. Whenever you go on internet, you see this is free game, this is free software, this is free antivirus, this is free PDF converter. So when you download that freewares, that freewares may have malicious codes hidden inside them. So when you install that freewares, I will use the word freewares, when you install that freewares, these malware called Trojan horse is also installed on your system, right? So that is why I always advise, I always recommend, please do not download any type of unauthenticated or unauthorized freewares. Yes, plugins, always you need a driver for your printer. Like for HP printer, I need the driver. Driver is there on the HP site. So always download only the software which are known to be verified and authentic, like Adobe के software, Microsoft के software, HP के driver हो गए. So always download only those freewares of which you are sure about that these are its providers are verified. Don't go to any kind of freeware which is available, any kind of patches. You know, even I recommend that don't go for antiviruses which are free, given you free. No. Better you buy Quick Heal, better you buy Norton. And if you don't want to buy, I think Windows Defender is good enough. Keep your system updated. Have Windows Defender, which is a default component of Windows. Activate that. Because most of the free antivirus scanners or antiviruses, they actually put virus instead of cleaning your system. This is a fact, right? So that is the idea of Trojan horse. How Trojan horse, basically the programs seem to be innocent, it seems to be simple, it seems to be freeware, but it may have a malicious code inside it. Remember one thing, nothing in this world is for free. If you are getting anything for free, something may be wrong with that, right? So whenever you even download file, then please be careful and note down its extensions, right? Because a Trojan can otherwise, once installed on your system, it can delete your files, it can hack your computer, it can be a keylogger also. Keylogger means the one who take care of what keys you have pressed. So if your keys pressed are noted down by the keylogger, that means all your passwords are hacked, right? Another important thing is, beside virus, worm, Trojan horses. So that is why I think now you can understand that why Trojan horses are more frequent in nature, because most of us, they fall into the pitfall of freewares. अरे ये दिक्कत आ रही है, there is a दिक्कत in this system. अरे ये वाला आप ऐप कर लो, ये वाला आप कर लो, ये अपने आप फिक्स कर देगा. All of us, we want ready-made freeware solutions on the net, but they sometimes do more harm than good, right? So this is a lesser known term, Rootkit. Rootkit are basically the malicious software which do not affect the user apps, and they are not installed in a normal way. Basically, the Rootkit, these are the malicious software or viruses, or you can say it can be a virus, it can be a worm also. But it is the one which corrupt your operating system files. You know how your system boots up when you switch it on, how it boot up. Basically, some boot address or boot initiation routine, it is there on your chip, it is there on the hardware, right? We call it BIOS. Okay? So some of that part is in a BIOS. From there, it goes to the boot sector on the hard disk. So what a Rootkit does is, it does not harm your apps. It either corrupt your BIOS or either it corrupt your boot sector, so that next time the operating system is not behaving properly. You are not able to boot the system. Some of basic operations like mouse is not working, So that kind of issues may come up. So it is called a rootkit because it affects the operating system or the root or the kernel of your system, right? So this is most dangerous sort of, right? We have rootkit cleaning systems also, if as a common user, if you are having a rootkit affect pattern, we should consult some expert about that for cleaning services, right? Don't take from that. But itself, rootkit is different from a boot sector virus, because boot sector virus, it will only and only affect the boot sector virus. So you can format your hard disk and install it again and everything is okay. But rootkit is more dangerous. It sometimes can reconfigure your BIOS, and in that case you will need to change it altogether. Maybe your PC will crash altogether and you need to buy another motherboard. In the worst case, your system, it may cause the hardware crash in your system and you need to buy the computer or the motherboard once more. It can be that dangerous. Boot sector virus is a bit lenient, right, for this. So these are the 4 basics. In fact, every one of the whatever we are going is adware, spyware, scareware, crimeware. It can be either come in the form of Trojan horse, it can come as a bomb. That 4 I have given you, they are the basic on the basis of technology. That is how basically they infect the system, what part they infect, how they behave like. The terms that now we are going to discuss is, that is adware, spyware, scareware, crimeware. These are the common layman terms. These are on the basis of how they affect the user. That is more of its application part. ये करते क्या हैं? ये मुझे क्या कर रहे हैं? जो last 4 हमने जो करी थी term Trojan horse, virus, worms and rootkit, that was from the technician point of view, how they come into your system and what they affect, right? So that was basically the root cause of the problem, and these are just symptoms. Symptom can be adware, symptom can be spyware, can be scareware, crimeware, ransomware. So as the name suggests, I need not go into the details. What is an adware? Adware is one in which like sometimes we open the website और पता नहीं नीचे बहुत सारी ads ही आती रहती हैं. That is because of adware. ठीक है? So, such kind of ads, these are pretty harmless, not very harmful, yeah, but they are annoying. ऐसे ही आ रहा है बीच में मशहूरी आ रही है, ठीक है? So that is basically the adwares which are attached to your web browsers. Web browsers के साथ mostly ये आता है, right? So these causes pop-ups, ads, banners, etc. Right? False coupons आ जाते हैं, ठीक है? ये सब adwares हैं. So another example of adware. This is my screenshot. You know, Walmart पे आता था ये adware बहुत ज़्यादा, right? Get coupon, get coupon. Don't click यार, please don't click these things. Whenever adware comes, आजकल तो इतने वो हो गए. Earlier, it was a protocol that whenever there is an adware, there is an ad, the cross button always used to be on the upper right side of the screen. Upper right side of the screen, जहाँ पे mostly apps का cross button होता है. But now they have become so smart. Whenever there is a pop-up of this adware, I have to figure out इसका cross button कहाँ है भाई. So sometimes the cross button कभी तो आता ही नहीं है. The cross button will be available only 1 minute, after 1 minute or 2 minutes. But please have patience. Wait for the cross button. It may be on the left side, it may be in the center, it may be on the left lower corner. Find that cross button and decently press that. Right? This is the best way to avoid these wares. Right? Spyware is actually, it is a keylogger. Spyware is a keylogger, right? Sort of thing. So, which is capable of spying of, let us say, you are typing the password and a keylogger can spy it, which keys has been pressed. So, definitely your passwords will be stolen. So, you know, that is why, that is the reason that whenever we log into the sensitive sites, like banking sites, they always give you an option, use virtual keyboard. Virtual keyboard. Why they gave this option? Virtual keyboard, every time it is generated with a different position of the keys. कभी A ऊपर होगा, कभी A नीचे होगा, तो ढूंढने में तो दिक्कत आती है. Right now, अभी I was shopping with my local medicos. He is now having a device. उस पे मैं अपना I give my credit card or debit card. Whenever I put my debit card, उस पे जब हम पिन प्रेस करते हैं ना, that pin is not numbered 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 like routine. It is always there on our mobile phones, or it is always there in our ATM machine. No, the numeric pad, it is not fixed. It is not organized as it used to be. In fact, instead of the numeric pad, there is an LCD screen, और कभी वो एक ऊपर होता है, कभी वो एक नीचे होता है. Every time I have to put my 4-digit pin very carefully, because sometimes उसका जो digit 3 है वो पता नहीं कहाँ होता है, तो मुझे ढूंढना पड़ता है. So every time it's changing the arrangement to avoid spywares, right? So I'll suggest that whenever you log into the sensitive sites like your sensitive mail IDs or your banking, etc., wherever available, please don't use the keyboard, because keyboard तो यार बच्चे भी देख लेते हैं. Even my kids, if I give the password, they immediately know कि मम्मा ने कहाँ हाथ लगाया है, तो keys कौन सी होंगी. So they can always be. So always prefer to use virtual keyboard, which is displayed on the screen, and from there you can enter your password. And every time the layout of the keyboard will be different, right? So this will help you stay safe, right? Scareware, yes, this is something interesting. Scareware में most of us must have seen that Scareware. वो नीचे आ जाता है, your system is corrupted with viruses. Scan it for free, है ना? So it scares you. अरे मेरे system में virus आ गया, right? So it basically first comes as an adware, but it gives the message, gives you the false alarm, and then allow you to do something which is not good for your system, right? So like this is an example of a Scareware. So I got a message that there is a virus alert, and immediately I had an online free scan, and which is telling me, attention, there are 22 threats found. Actually, there were no threats at all, right? So you can now understand we are talking, what we are talking is. So it is motivating us to invite the malware into our system, right? Don't go for that. Sometimes it's here in a different way, like your system is not fully upgraded, so buy subscription right now. So such kind of things. Just every time read the message. If you either ignore them, simply put the cross button, or read it carefully and do it only when it is required. Otherwise, don't do any kind of clickings, right? So this is Crimeware. What I have we have talked in the beginning is 2020 Bitcoin, all the 2016 Bangladesh money heist, then 2019 Indian bank breach, 2016 Indian bank breach, and the last one is the data stolen by the Russia. So these are all actually into the Crimewares, where there is a hacker who steal the data for specific purpose, to commit a crime, and these are under the cyber attacks. जो normal आपके virus worms हैं, they are not covered under the cyber attack rules, right? So we have already talked enough about this. So as I have told you, these are just the soft classification or the purpose of the malware, to commit a crime, to show the ads, to scare you, something like that. So itself like a crimeware, it can come in the form of a Trojan. It may come in the form of Trojan, it may come in the form of a worm also, right? It can come in any way, right? Another term is ransomware. You must have heard of ransomware. So in which your system is hacked and it is locked, and unless you pay money, your system will not work. So again, it may come as yes, ransomware is also classified in cyber crime, right? So basically there are two types of popular ransomware. One is it locks your screen, and another is it encrypts your data. Your computer has been encrypted, and to decrypt you have to pay the money, right? So you can always report it to the cybercrime, right? So this is a very popular ransomware case study with Prism, right? So there are some other malwares, including terms you must have heard of: phishing, farming. Actually, what I have done is I have just tried to cover the common terms which we heard in day-to-day life. So what actually it means? My audience is awake or feeling sleepy?
Yes, ma'am, we are listening.
I think only you are listening, other people are there. They can write the feedback in the chat. If you want it.
You all have the reaction symbol with you, so you can give the thumbs up.
Please let me know if we are going in the right direction. And I'll like to welcome if anyone can add anything to it, because I may have skipped some terms.
Ma'am, we can have the question answer session at the end, or discussion session.
Okay, right. So I'll wind up. I think I should wind up within 20-30 minutes, right? 20 minutes.
Okay.
So that,
no issues.
So that we can have enough time. So I'll quickly explain these terms. What is phishing? Phishing is like having fake emails or sometimes fake messages, but it seems to be authentic, as you can see from the picture. So it seems sometimes what happen is I want to log into my SBI bank. कि भगवान ऐसा कुछ हो नहीं, पर चलो मैंने अपनी तरफ से ऑनलाइन SBI डाला, मैंने co.in डाला, लेकिन कई बार हम इतनी जल्दबाजी में होते हैं ना कि हम ध्यान ही नहीं देते हैं कि इसके ऊपर https:/sbi.co.in ही लिखा हुआ है ना, कुछ और तो नहीं लिखा आ गया. समटाइम्स SBI की बजाय हो सकता है SB कैपिटल I लिखा हो या SBI L लिखा हो, मैंने ध्यान ही नहीं दिया और वहां पे अपनी लॉगिन डिटेल फटाफट डाल दी और उसने बोल दिया कि लॉगिन इनकरेक्ट. इट्स टेलिंग मी लॉगिन इनकरेक्ट. ओके यार, गलत, मुझसे ही गलत टाइप हो गया होगा, फिर से दे देते हैं. एंड द सेकंड टाइम यू लॉग्ड इन, अरे मैंने पासवर्ड तो ठीक ही दिया था. एक्चुअली हुआ क्या, बीच में जो आपके पास स्क्रीन आई वो ऑथेंटिकेटेड SBI से आई नहीं थी, तो किसी और से आई थी और आपने उसको अपना लॉगिन और पासवर्ड बता दिया. दिस हैपेंस. सो व्हेनेवर यू टाइप the URL address, make it sure you have typed correctly, and especially always check all these sensitive sites. They use protocol HTTPS. S is always there. S stands for secure, and on the right hand side, I think I should have put that into PPT. There is always a lock, so that you are not fall into the trap of this phishing. So okay, here it is. Sorry, I found. So sometimes it is a fake site. The site which is not fake, the site one which is not the fake, it will always have a lock at this position. यहाँ पे एक lock होता है. Here we always have a lock at this position, right? And it is HTTPS. So please be careful. The site may seem to be officially good, but sometimes it is not. Phishing is actually used by the cyber criminals to hack your username and passwords, and later on they can steal into your bank accounts or your shopping accounts and your credit card numbers, etc. Okay, so right, always be careful. If the Twitter account of, please remember, if the Twitter account of Jeff Bezos, the CEO Amazon, can be stolen, then your data which is saved on the Amazon can also be stolen. Don't trust anyone, right? So that is the point. So spoofing is, again, it is something like phishing, and it actually create again the website or the email address which look like legitimate, but it is not. It asks you the information actively. Phishing में क्या है? In the case of phishing, it has given you the false screen and you have innocently given your login and password. But in case of spoofing, it says that this is the verification email from FBI. Please give OTP and falana. That is sort of spoofing, an example of that. So spoofing, it seems to be legitimate and you willingly share your data with that, right? It's like this. So even it may include your own name. It may seem that this is the sender is known to you. It may pretend that I am from one of your contact list, right? So spoofing is more dangerous than farming. Yes, farming, again, it is a tool. You know, here for what we have done at the first is phishing. For phishing, you have correctly typed sbionline.co.in, but जो स्क्रीन है वो SBI पे नहीं गई, वो sbionline.co.in पे चली गई. आपने टाइप कुछ और किया था लेकिन चला कहीं और गया. Sometimes it happens. We do farming. We sometimes do farming for the convenience of the users. कई बार एक साइट का URL बदल जाता है. Recently, those who are linked with the Punjabi University, they know. Earlier we used to use something like elearnpunjabi.ml. Moodle की domain में वो था. So now we have got our own domain. It is elearnpunjabiuniversity.ac.in. So the previous users, those who are not aware of that domain name has been changed, we are still typing elearnpunjabi.ml, and we type the old address and it automatically redirects us to the new address automatically. Like, okay, take another simple example. All of us, we type google.com. But those in India, they are automatically redirected to google.co.in. India वाले server पे चला जाए. Automatically redirection होती है. Now this automatic like redirection, it is for sometimes for the convenience of the user. But what if this redirection is used to take a legitimate site to the illegitimate site? It becomes farming. I think I am clear about. I think if you must not be having any doubt about this. So basically, again, this is a common online fraud that you type the legitimate address, but it takes to the illegitimate URL address which looks like the legitimate one, right? So that is farming attack. So like one is PayPal. PayPal के साथ हुआ था ऐसा. It happened. This is what I wanted to say. Please note here the PayPal, in the background, the PayPal, it is just showing you the web, and whereas the authenticated PayPal, it is having a green lock. So and it is having HTTPS, right? So whenever it is the secure protocol safe, the lock must always appear, right? So whenever you are doing transactions, whenever you are doing such things which require information about your accounts or some sensitive data, please check the site is secure one, right? So here you can see the difference. This is farming, right? So farming is similar to phishing, but the only difference is, okay, ये बहुत technical term हो जाएगी. Let's skip this and all that. Now, what is Wi-Fi eavesdropping? Whenever we are go to public Wi-Fi connections, so you know because your data, it is being transferred through the Wi-Fi mode, it can be tapped in between. So eavesdropping means that someone is listening to, someone is decrypting, because all the Wi-Fi communication, it takes place through the known sometimes encryption standards. The data is sometimes encrypted, sometimes not, but if it happens in the form of known protocols or the known formats, right? Encryptions. So they can be hacked in between. This is something like you are talking through a cable, and in between your cable is tapped. It is like that, right? So one suggestion about that is that whenever you are connecting through the Wi-Fi, please create virtual private network. VPN के through करो आप हमेशा, especially when you are using the Wi-Fi at the railway stations, at the airports, जहाँ पे free Wi-Fi available है, वहाँ पे especially never connect your system like you connect to your private or your home Wi-Fi. First, always have VPN, right? You can search on net about VPN and you can create VPN, right? So that nobody can listen you in between. Otherwise, the Wi-Fi range is quite good. Like these two persons want to communicate, but you can see the light yellow color showing you the range of the Wi-Fi. So definitely who is within the range of the Wi-Fi can secretly monitor what you are doing or what you are typing, right? So whenever you are using Wi-Fi at a public place, use it through VPN, or better not to use at all. Better use your own mobile data or your own carry your own dongle, right? So mouse trapping is similar to your key logging. Like in key logging, but it is harder than key logging. In case of key logging, it is just your key movement which is being trapped, which is actually it is not trapped. It is just logged. Okay, what keys you have pressed and your password is stolen. In case of mouse trapping, this is a rootkit type of attack, rootkit type of, because it is going to affect your input-output system in the BIOS and you can say the booting at the time of booting. So what happens is sometimes your mouse navigation is trapped. You think there is problem with the cell, probably your battery is weak, or probably some problem is with the surface. So that is why your mouse is not navigating. Yeah, sometimes it happens you want to press something else and it presses something else. So it is not always the driver issue, or it is not always the the pad issue or the speed or the battery issue. Sometimes there may be a mouse trapping. That is, your mouse driver has been, if printer driver can be hacked in Bangladesh Bank, your mouse driver can also be hacked and device can also be hacked. So basically you try clicking forward and backward or navigation, but it will redirect you somewhere else. So it is annoying also, and it is not only annoying, but it may cause, like, it may be used in combination with other things. Let us say below there are adwares, there are coupons, there are some false warnings, and you don't want to pay attention to that. You want to close them, but your mouse is trapped in such a way that you are not able to close them. See, imagine the situation. Instead, your mouse is automatically pressing on the coupon or pressing on install this freeware. So your adware, your coupled with your mouse trap can definitely crash your system, right? Can be harmful, right? So most of the time, if the mouse trapping happen in case of web browser, usually it first symptom appear in when you are using the web browser. Then the best way is you close that app and reopen that. Mostly you will get out of that, right? There are other more malwares also, spams. Spam is harmless. कुछ नहीं करता. Spam सिर्फ आपके mails, it will keep on sending you annoying mails. Keylogger, I think we have discussed a lot. Botnets is a very interesting thing. Botnet, you know, botnets, they are botnets. Okay, spam is nothing. Botnet, you know, botnet, they were created for good purpose. They can be used in a very good way. How many of us are using Telegram? In Telegram, we can have design a botnet, because in Telegram, we can have channels and we can have discussion chats. So the idea behind the botnet is to design small code, like whoever wants to subscribe to my channel from the Telegram, I want कि जब भी कोई चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करे उसको एक वेलकम मैसेज आ जाए ऑटोमेटिकली. एक वेलकम मैसेज हमेशा जाना चाहिए, ठीक है, जब भी सब्सक्राइब करो तो यू कैन हैव बोटनेट्स फॉर दैट, उसके लिए अलग होता है सिस्टम. यू कैन यूज बोटनेट्स एंड कैन ऑलवेज हैव दैट welcome message or some other process that you want, right? That you want that should be there when a new user comes in. So botnets are very useful. ठीक है, they are a collection of software called robots or bots we call it, right? But these botnets can be used to create an army of infected computers, you know, because they are independent codes and can be controlled remotely. They are controlled remotely. I have subscribed to the channel and automatically the message is coming from the channel owner. So that means some botnet is controlling it remotely and putting the welcome message on the behalf of the channel owner onto the channel subscriber. So there are three parties. One is the channel owner, another is the channel subscriber, and there is botnet. So botnet can work on behalf of the admin to put the welcome message to the subscriber. Admin is not doing. So that means it is being controlled remotely. And it can create the unsuspecting web users. That means it can replicate itself, and it can, if a message can be delivered automatically, then definitely other malicious information can also be passed. So it can be used to send viruses also, right? Because they are remotely controlled by the originator. So that is the point here, right? So botnets basically they can be used to send spam emails. है ना, जैसे वेलकम मैसेज जा रहा है तो अब मेल्स की फ्लडिंग जा रही है, ठीक है. अब इफ एंड आई थिंक यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड ऑफ अ टर्म डिनायल ऑफ सर्विस अटैक. घर में आपके एक सर्वेंट है, आप उसको बोलो मार्केट भी चला जा, चिट्ठी भी पोस्ट कर दे, मेरा कंप्यूटर भी ठीक कर दे, मेरे लिए चार्ट भी बना दे. यू जस्ट गिव हर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ कमांड्स and you know what your servant is going to say, बाहर में जाओ, I am not going to do anything. इतना काम करवाते हो. Same is the denial of service attack. कहता मैं काम ही नहीं करना. Sometimes some server, sometimes you know, especially when happens when CBSE result was out or JEE result is out or some results are out, the server hangs up. Actually, that is denial of service for momentarily it happens. So that is basically because of a particular scenario, because so many people they are checking for the results or the information from a particular server, and the server bechara hangs up, cannot handle so many requests. So it slows down and it gives up. What if you intentionally bog up a server with so many fake requests so that your server deliberately becomes down? That is called denial of service attack. So these botnets, once generated, if they are generated to put a request on a server, so वो automatically bogus requests जा रही हैं and the server will crash. It happens, right? So botnets can be very harmful. It can result in the denial of service attack, right? It can be a part of that, right? So if the botnet is something, so you know, these are the options we are considering. That botnet can use to send automated messages. It can be used to send automated requests. It can be designed or used as a bot master also, that go into your computer and check all your records and take control of all your basic apps. Then it is called botnet infection, right? It can be done anything, right? Keylogger usually mk.exe file होती है Windows में. तो as we have already discussed, keylogger is one which keep track of what keys are pressed. This is a very powerful threat to steal your login credential. Its basic purpose is to keep track of your to steal your credentials, right? So that is why everyone is not aware of how to open the Windows Task Manager and how to identify whether this is a keylogger or not. So what safest thing that you can do is, the best thing that you can do is as I have told you, don't use your keyboard. Better you use virtual keyboard, which is shown on the screen, right? Backdoors, again, actually, you know, these are designed for good intentions. Backdoors, very good intention. जैसे होता है ना, हम एक master key रखते हैं. You have a lock and a key, I have a lock and a key, everyone is having this, but sometimes we need to reset and we want a master password जिससे सब ठीक ठाक हो जाए, अगर हम भूल भी गए हैं तो ठीक ठाक हो जाए. So backdoors were generally kept for that purposes, that if accidentally you halt up, then you can have a back entry and make the system, correct the system. Ethical hacking के लिए ये होते हैं, but the ethical purposes के लिए होते हैं, but sometimes if they can be used for the malicious purposes also, right? Backdoors. So let's come to the, let me just quickly, बहुत सारे precautions तो I think I have covered side by side, but let me formally tell you how you can handle these threats. We can handle any kind of, okay, we are in the, already we are fighting with the virus. We are fighting with that situation in physical, right? So what are the three strategies? Everybody knows. It's not a rocket science. First stage is prevent it. If you can't prevent it, then avoid it. Prevention means कि जिसको कोविड है उसके पास मत जाओ, लेकिन अगर कोविड वाले बंदे के पास जाना जरूरी है तो तुम अपना सूट बूट पहन के, अपना वो जो प्रोटेक्शन किट पहन के, पीपी किट पहन के जाओ. हो ही गया है तो डिटेक्शन एंड रिकवरी, नो रॉकेट साइंस रिक्वायर्ड. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा इसको क्विकली करते हैं बिकॉज बहुत सारा हमने डिस्कस कर लिया इसमें. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अवेयरनेस. You know, if you are aware about the problem, definitely you are conscious and you will save yourself. Being aware is a first and fundamental step toward avoiding the problems, right? So always be suspicious, never go for random clicks, don't go to the pitfall of freewares, don't use the random pen drives of your students and for the other sharing purposes, etc. And to be on the safe side, those who are more literate in computer science, I like to add, please keep your Windows recovery drive ready. Otherwise, normally, जितने भी हमारे laptops आ रहे हैं, machines आ रही हैं, they already have built-in recovery partition. Inbuilt recovery partition is there, but sometimes your rootkit will corrupt that also. Better prepare your recovery flash drive, pen drive. एक pen drive में Windows की recovery डाल के रखो and keep it handy. I keep. Because I bought a new HP laptop, I think 2-3 years back, और उसकी recovery disk ही crash हो गई है. मुझे नहीं पता, मेरी हो गई या तो बताओ, प्रोफेसर इन कंप्यूटर साइंस, recovery disk मेरी हो गई, corrupt हो गई तो हो गई, हम क्या कर सकते हैं, right? So but I recovered it because I had me and I reinstated, right? And I always prefer that you keep your periodic backups on the cloud or external storage, wherever. This is necessary, right? So that is the policy basically. Other prevention measures that we can use is always use a firewall, install but authenticated antivirus. नहीं तो ऐसा ना हो कि आपका जो antivirus है वही virus पैदा कर रहा है. Free वाले antivirus मत करो please. Keep your computer updated. जितने packs आते हैं service pack. Go for authenticated Windows. ठीक है, मत use करो pirated copies, right? And use a pop-up blocker on your browser. These are just I'll be giving you this PPT, or you can find it on net, right? So always turn on user account control. हमेशा अपना login, password और account control अपना रखो, right? Next is avoidance. Avoidance means that, like, do not open unexpected email attachment. I think this is a journal awareness which is now given by everyone. No, and is known to everyone. Downloads only from the trusted sites, please. Trusted site पे करना, fishy sites पे नहीं करना, जिसका आपको नाम ही समझ में नहीं आ रहा, ठीक है? Air gap isolation means creation of VPN. Whenever you are in the public environment, public Wi-Fi, please access through VPNs only and maintain access control. Once again, I am repeating. So always stop, think whether it is safe, only then you do an action, right? So this is about the application. More on internet. I'm skipping this, right? So always keep your passwords, always keep your wherever possible biometrics अपने apply करो, ठीक है? And this is also a part of avoidance, right? Don't allow other people to work on your behalf, right? So the last one is detection and recovery. So सबसे पहले, how it is detected that your system is having problem? These are few symptoms. If your system is taking longer time than usual, प्रोग्राम स्लो स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं, फाइल और डाटा नहीं मिल रहा, ठीक है, प्रोग्राम क्रैश हो रहे हैं बार बार, ठीक है, योर होम पेज जो आपने कुछ और सेट किया था वो कुछ और ही हो गया है, एंड इट इज स्लो टू लोड ऑल्सो, योर स्क्रीन समटाइम्स मे लुक डिस्टॉर्टेड and programs are running without your control. So these are few symptoms. That means there is something wrong with you. Please take care of the time also. If it is really taking longer time, don't be patient. Try to look for the problem. For recovery, the very first thing is परेशान नहीं होना, panic नहीं होना. सबसे the most important thing in this world is your life, neither your data nor your money. Don't panic. Sometimes हम पैनिक में बटन दबा के और गड़बड़ कर जाते हैं. If you feel your system is crashed, please stay calm. आराम से. If you are literate about the computer, in the field of computer, only then I will advise that you try it yourself. Otherwise, the best thing is you consult your anyone who knows about computers, और जो आपके जो सेंटर वगैरह हैं, जैसे HP का सेंटर मेरा हो गया, या बेटर है आप हम उनसे कंसल्ट करें. बट जर्नल डूज एंड डू नॉट्स फॉर रिकवरीज आर, आपको लग रहा है कि स्लो हो रहा है, देयर माइट बी समथिंग रॉन्ग. You know, Windows में with every computer we have recovery points, we have restore points होते हैं, तो हम restore points खुद भी सेट कर सकते हैं. It can be periodic, set weekly or monthly or like this. So whenever you restart the system, give the restore option. You can find more on internet how Windows restoration is done. ठीक है, Windows restore point लिखोगे तो आपको उसके authenticated steps आ जाएंगे. और अगर आपको लग रहा है there is some particular app or application or a particular program which is not behaving properly, reinstall that. Simply properly uninstall it and then reinstall it. It's fresh copy. Most of the adwares and most of the other problems, they will disappear, right? As I have told you in the very first slide related to the handling of these threats, its defenses, use Windows recovery disk for system repair. अगर रीइंस्टॉल करने से, रेस्टोर पॉइंट से भी दिक्कत नहीं सॉल्व हो रही है, तो एक बार अपनी विंडोज रिपेयर कर लो. रिपेयर, रीइंस्टॉल नहीं, रिपेयर में फर्क होता है. ऑटोमेटिकली जो उसकी रेस्टोरेशन डिस्क है, पार्टीशन है, वहां से आप रिकवर कर लो, रिकवरी पार्टीशन से रिकवर कर लो. अगर रिकवरी पार्टीशन से भी रिकवर नहीं हो पा रही, देन you reinstall the fresh copy of Windows and restore your system manually using backups. The last is recommended. Definitely, again, I am saying that if you have enough knowledge about this and you have already installed your own copy of Windows, ask for help. The biggest don't here is, you will be surprised. This is something weird I'm saying. Don't go to Google Babaji. There may be quacks. There may be quacks. जो तो कंप्यूटर लिटरल है, जिसको थोड़ी नॉलेज है, उसको तो समझ में आ जाएंगे. अदरवाइज आज इंफॉर्मेशन, इन द वर्ल्ड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, देयर इज सो मच weird and incorrect information that probably you won't be able to figure out whether this is right or wrong, right? So please, I request that if you are not having, like, even I myself, to be honest, I'm admitting it honestly, that sometimes when I'm too stuck, I go to my HV professional, or I ask my son who is expert in handling all these things. तो मैं उसको पूछ लेती हूँ, बेटा मेरा ये सेट कर दे, गड़बड़ा गया. तो because he knows into this, मैं नहीं पंगा लेती हूँ. तो admit that it's perfectly okay, ठीक है. Don't go for quick fixes which are available at Google, unless you have concrete knowledge about their working, please. Because sometimes वही हम एंटीवायरस इंस्टॉल करते हैं और एंटीवायरस के चक्कर में हम खुद ही वायरस डाल लेते हैं. So because there may be quacks there. So this is my humble request. This is from my own experiences, and although every one of us is so fond of Google, but Google is not the solution to every problem on this earth, right? So only go for authenticated sites. Authenticated जैसे Microsoft की साइट हो गई, तो वहाँ पे जो solutions दिए होते हैं, patches दिए होते हैं. Yes, once my system was stuck and I needed a patch, I figured it out on the net and said that it need this particular Windows patch. So I got that patch from the Microsoft authenticated site. I installed that patch and my system was working properly. So that is again the end of the story. So information security, again, I would like to conclude. This is the last thing I want to say. Please, this is a beautiful picture. Those who are sleeping, just please once open it and have a look on this. Toward one side is all the apps for data security, all your knowledge, all your firewalls, all your antiviruses. But to the other side, there is human error. It can always be there. Anything can go wrong. So in this corner, we have firewalls, encryption, antivirus software, and on the other corner, we have Day, the human error. So please don't worry, be chill. It's just a computer. It's just your data. We try to be safe, but if something goes wrong, please don't lose patience. Be happy. Don't worry. Nothing is more important than our life and our health. बीपी नहीं बढ़ाना है, चिंता नहीं करनी, कुछ नहीं होता. इतने बड़े बड़े लोगों का डाटा हैक हो जाता है. We are a part of that system. So please accept that, but please stay safe. Stay aware रहो, safe रहो, and I wish every one of you stay safe physically as well as electronically in this world of data. Right? Thank you. So now I
thank you very much, ma'am.
The session chair to please come up with the question answer session or whatever they want to ask.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing very valuable views about information security in a very simple method. Now the house is open for question answer session.
Hello. Hello. Hello, ma'am. Yes. I am Maninder. I am working as an assistant professor at Department of Physics, Punjabi University. Right. First of all, I would like to thank you. Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank you for making all of us aware about these deadly threats. Now, I have a question I just want to ask you, that we have already linked our Aadhaar card with the bank details, mobile number, fingerprints, and other relevant data. So, what is your opinion, whether we are in a great mess or not? I mean, please explain.
Last question is whether we are in?
Meaning, whether we are in a great mess, we are having these deadly threats again.
Of course we are, but you have given that data to the government and the data is thoroughly encrypted. See, even Barack Obama, when using the verified Twitter account, must have believed that my account is in safe hands, right? So definitely, in the present scenario, the data is properly encrypted, and you know, even with the Aadhaar, you need not share your original Aadhaar number. We are given virtual Aadhaar number. एक आता है, तो हम बहुत सारे अपने उसके लिए जो है बैंक में तो नहीं, जो उसमें मोबाइल कनेक्शंस लेते हैं या जो जगह जगह हम आधार की कॉपी हमसे मांगी जाती है, we need not give our original actual Aadhaar number. We can give the virtual Aadhaar number which can be generated, right? So that we can use at it is being taken care of. Security issues are being taken care of very nicely, but still nothing is 100%. Nothing is 100%. Okay. That was the end. There is human error can always be there, but please, one guideline: whenever you are sharing your copy of Aadhaar in physical. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक में तो चलो हम VPN वर्चुअल आधार नंबर ही शेयर कर देते हैं. जब आप फिजिकली शेयर करते हो ना, तो उसमें पर्पस ऑफ शेयरिंग और डेट डाल के शेयर किया करो. so that there are lesser chances of fraud.
Okay.
Otherwise, your bank transactions are very much safe. Very much safe.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else?
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Hello. Hello, ma'am. I myself Harjinder Singh. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, like last year, ma'am, government has made some data localization law for various like Amazon, Facebook, and many others.
Yes.
So why so it is good that data will be stored in our country only, but for this many countries like US is against this, that they have to invest many more money in this to store that, and they have to make servers and all. So why they need to store these kind of informations like bank accounts and all? Why they are storing that? Like whenever we want to buy something, we directly put our details, and it should be deleted. Why do we need to store on that?
We shouldn't. Actually, I think when I shop through Amazon, it asks me to whether you want to save it or not. So that is the user choice. The saving option, it is actually left onto the user. And yes, why government has made for the local servers? You know, this was linked with the bank breach incidents that happened, because most of the debit and the credit card details which were stolen from the India, the shopping was being done from US.
Yes.
कार्ड इंडिया के थे, शॉपिंग जो हुई थी वो यूएस और दूसरी आउट ऑफ द कंट्री से हुई थी. सो जस्ट टू सेफगार्ड दैट दे मेड अ पॉलिसी दैट इट हैज टू बी लोकलाइज्ड इन इंडिया ओनली, so that it is there in India only. Yes, the vulnerability is there. Should not, as per protocol, they should not store our personal information, not the personal but the banking information. And as far as I can recall, they do not store it without your consent, because like in my Amazon, none of the details are saved.
One more question. Yes. Ma'am, in the one way, the government is trying to make this law, but on the other hand, like right now, JioMart has invested some money in Facebook, so that they could use its information for collecting some data, so that they can do their business. So don't you think it is contradictory? In the one side we are trying to make data localized, on the other way we are using Facebook's data to do our business, to promote our private companies. They are also using our private data. It is
definitely, I agree with you, but money is a major factor. No, everyone wants to make money, and all this is just because of money. This is being happening. Though I am not very much. मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा details इसके पता नहीं है, but I can have an idea what's going on.
Thank you so much.
Hello, myself Shailaja Mahadappa. Madam, what about the issues while using Wi-Fi in university and college premises in the inevitable conditions?
You know, most of the college and universities Wi-Fi, they are under the firewalls. Like our campus itself, most of the campuses that I have seen is they use cyber rooms. So they are very much secure.
Okay, thank you.
Because yes, they are very much secure because they are working under the umbrella of firewalls. Your institution will also be having some cyber or something like that, I'm sure.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, madam.
Because there, all the activities, whatever you are doing and whatever others are sending you, that are under scanning. Admin can scan. Anji.
Hello, Sukhjeet from Patiala. Ma'am, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਸਾਈਬਰ ਰੂਮ ਯੂਜ਼ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਬਟ ਸਟਿਲ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਫੋਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਵਾਈਫਾਈ, ਤਾਂ ਸਟਿਲ ਇਹ ਵਾਲਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆਉਂਦਾ that Wi-Fi is not protected. Even ਜਿਹੜਾ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਾਈਫਾਈ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਫੋਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ Wi-Fi is not protected. ਉਹਦੀ ਕੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ
कि Wi-Fi is not क्या
protected?
Wi-Fi is not protected because that simply means I am not Wi-Fi is not protected.
ना Wi-Fi ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਪਾਸਵਰਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਗਾਇਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ not protected ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ.
ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ. ਸ਼ਾਇਦ
that is open without password.
नहीं तो जिस तरह मैं घर ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ यूज कर रही हूँ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਪਾਸਵਰਡ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਟਿਲ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ
ਬਟ ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਨੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਕਨੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਸਰ ਮੈਂ
ਜੇ ਪਾਸਵਰਡ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ
ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਸਵਰਡ
ਬਿਨਾਂ ਪਾਸਵਰਡ ਦੇ
ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਮ ਸਰਵਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਲਗਾਈਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਪੇਡ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼
ਪਾਸਵਰਡ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈਂਦੇ
ਹਾਂ I think there are password is also at two levels. ਇੱਕ ਤੇ password ਉਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ BSNL ਤੋਂ ਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਤਾਂ router ਦੀ for the router's connectivity I keep that password. So whenever I have to configure my Wi-Fi, only then I need that password. Another password is to connect with your device. There are two levels of password. Hope you have kept both the passwords. One password is for the configuring of the Wi-Fi router and another password is when you connect your device with the Wi-Fi, that password. Probably whenever we are working in the institutes, when I connect to the Wi-Fi within the institute, sometimes we are not having that second user connectivity password. Then it says it is unprotected. जब आप कॉलेज में जाते हो, that is when you connect to the Wi-Fi, do you need to give a password every time or you have saved password? Do you connect through a password?
No ma'am, single time ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਪਾਸਵਰਡ ਰਿਮੈਂਬਰ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦਾ
ਕੁਕੀਜ਼ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ ਕੁਕੀਜ਼ ਚ ਉਹਨੇ ਸੇਵ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ
ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਜਦ ਵੀ ਕਨੈਕਟ ਕਰੀਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੂਜ਼ਰ ਨੇ ਪਾਸਵਰਡ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ
and for every device it will be needing
yes sir
for every device.
No, I think we should conclude the session now. Session chair, please conclude the session.
I on behalf of all the participants and HRDC family Punjabi University Patiala once again thanks Dr. Sukhjeet Kaur Ranade for sparing time for us. Thank you very much, ma'am. At the end of the today's session.
Okay, ji, thank you.
Happy Independence to all of you. So we'll be meeting on 17th and we'll be having the session day for 17 and 18. Thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you everyone.